A woman in Utah waits by her phone. The man she loves, a soldier she's never met, is finally coming home. She's wired him everything she has for the ticket. But tonight, he's vanished. His number is gone. His profile was deleted. Across the country, another victim stares at her empty bank account and realizes the same truth. She's been conned by love. When agents follow the digital trail, it leads not to a battlefield hero, but to a quiet cul-de-sac in Dunwoody, Georgia, and to one man whose hands moved the money behind hundreds of broken hearts. His name was Clinton Chukwudi Uchendu, and his story would expose a dark business built on trust, loneliness, and betrayal. Stay to the end, because how this scheme unraveled will change the way you look at every "I love you" that appears on a screen. Before we dive in, tell us where you're watching from in the comments and subscribe to our channel. Your support keeps us bringing you these chilling, educational true crime stories. Now, sit back. Let's begin. In early 2018, Dunwoody, Georgia looked like the definition of calm. Neat driveways, trimmed lawns, polite smiles at mailboxes. Among them lived Clinton Uchendu, mid-20s, quiet, courteous, ordinary. No one guessed that his modest life was about to collide with a global romance fraud network stretching from suburban America to cyber cafés in Nigeria. Thousands of miles away, self-styled Yahoo boys crafted personas out of stolen photos and polished words. Oil engineers on remote rigs, doctors abroad, soldiers overseas. They knew their audience: widowed hearts, lonely retirees, people who just wanted to be seen. Messages bloomed into affection, affection into dependency, and dependency into requests. "I just need help clearing a fee. I'll pay you back when I'm home." But money from the U.S. needed U.S. bank accounts. That's where Clinton came in, the picker, the local collector. He'd receive funds, keep a cut, and forward the rest. To him, it was just numbers. To victims, it was trust. To the FBI, it was laundering. From February to October 2018, hundreds of thousands flowed through his accounts. Each deposit represented a dream. Each withdrawal erased it. Linda, a retired teacher from Utah, had lost her husband years earlier. When David Thompson, an engineer in Turkey, began writing to her, she said it felt like sunlight returning to her life. For 8 months, they spoke every day. Then came the plea. His business funds were frozen. Could she help with travel expenses? Linda wired the first $10,000, then another. By the time her daughter intervened, the transfers had passed through several U.S. accounts, one belonging to Clinton Uchendu. There were others: a nurse in Illinois who sold her car, a widow in Arizona who took out a loan, a small business owner in Nevada who borrowed against his store. Altogether, more than $600,000 vanished into the digital void. To outsiders, it was just money. To these victims, it was a future rewritten by deceit. The break began with suspicion from a bank teller in Utah. A nervous woman tried wiring tens of thousands to a fiancé she'd never met. The teller's instinct said, "Stop." She called the FBI. Agents traced the wire and saw the same destination appear across multiple cases, an account in Georgia. They subpoenaed records, built charts, and watched the pattern unfold. Deposits from around the country into Clinton's accounts, withdrawals within hours, and new wires sent abroad. They called it the Heartbreak Network, an emotional supply chain powered by stolen affection and facilitated by domestic hands. By late 2018, the evidence was thick: IP logs, routing numbers, text records, even surveillance from ATMs. The question wasn't if they had the right man, but when to move. 2 a.m., Dunwoody, Georgia. The neighborhood still slept. 2 dark SUVs rolled to a stop in front of a beige townhouse. Inside, Clinton stirred at the first knock. "Federal agents, open the door." He froze. Through the peephole, blue windbreakers, guns holstered, badges shining. Another knock, harder. The latch turned. Agents entered quietly. Voices measured. "Clinton Chukwudi Uchendu, you're under arrest for money laundering conspiracy and mail fraud." His hands lifted slowly, palms trembling. The cuffs clicked. 1, 2. The sound was small, almost polite, but it ended 6 years of deception. Neighbors peeked from blinds as the man they thought worked in finance was led down the driveway, barefoot, wrists bound, sunrise spilling gold across the pavement. From that moment, the romance scam had a face, and it was no longer anonymous. Months later, the caption appeared on federal dockets: United States versus Clinton Chukwudi Uchendu, District of Utah. The prosecution laid out the pattern: money in, money out, money gone. Bank records stacked inches high. Witnesses described how their savings evaporated. The defense called him naive, a courier manipulated by unseen Nigerians. But the jury saw consistency, not confusion. Dozens of transactions, warnings ignored, profits kept. On March 22, 2024, the verdict came: guilty on all counts. During sentencing, victims' voices filled the courtroom. "He didn't just steal my money," one said through tears. "He stole my ability to trust." Judge Jill Parrish's words cut through the hush. "You may not have written the lies, Mr. Uchendu, but you enabled them." On July 23, 2024, she imposed 28 months in prison and $170,000 restitution. The cuffs clicked again, echoing that Georgia morning. Romance scams weaponize emotion. Victims aren't gullible, they're human. Connection feels good, and loneliness makes logic quiet. For perpetrators, the psychology is reversed: detachment. They tell themselves it's just business. Psychologists call it compartmentalized empathy, seeing harm but refusing to feel it. In cultures where Yahoo Boy wealth is flaunted, moral distance becomes currency. Clinton wasn't chatting with victims, but he saw the deposits, the ages on the wire forms, the notes reading, "for surgery," "for flight." He chose not to ask. The investigation had everything: clues, repeating account numbers, matching wire times, mirrored transaction amounts, red herrings, fake invoices, counterfeit IDs, burner phones registered to stolen names, breakthroughs, a seized laptop from a co-conspirator revealing chats with Clinton about splitting percentages. Every breadcrumb confirmed what agents suspected. Behind every romantic plea was a business model, and Clinton was its accountant. Defense attorneys challenged the venue, arguing that crimes in Georgia couldn't be tried in Utah. Prosecutors countered, the victims lived in Utah. The wires began there. That's jurisdiction. The court agreed. Another twist: even after banks flagged suspicious activity, Clinton opened new accounts under different variations of his name. Persistence became proof of intent. And then came the surprise link. Part of the funds had moved through a cryptocurrency exchange, traced by digital forensics back to wallets tied to Nigerian operators. The chain was complete. Statistics say $600,000 lost. Emotion says otherwise. One woman lost her home. Another lost her church community, too ashamed to explain. A daughter lost the mother she recognized, the confident woman replaced by guilt and silence. Romance scams wound the heart first, the wallet second. Restitution checks don't restore self-worth. Healing begins only when victims realize they weren't stupid, they were targeted. What do you think drives people to join scams like this? Desperation, greed, or something darker? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your insight might help someone spot a red flag before it's too late. On sentencing day, the courtroom was full but quiet. The FBI case agent stood near the back, hands clasped. When the judge pronounced the 28-month term, there was no celebration, just a slow, collective exhale. Justice in fraud cases rarely feels dramatic. Money can be replaced, trust cannot. But the message was clear: the pickers, the quiet enablers, will face the same justice as the scammers who write the lies. In early 2025, Clinton dismissed his own appeal. The paperwork was brief, the meaning final. The conviction stands. Some victims, like Linda, turned their pain into warning. She now volunteers with online safety groups, telling others to pause before you pay. If my story saves one person, she says, then maybe it wasn't all for nothing. The FBI calls cases like this educational victories, a win measured not in years served, but in hearts spared. 3 rules can stop the next heartbreak. Never send money to someone you haven't met. Love waits, scams hurry, verify photos and stories. A 5-minute reverse image search can save a lifetime of regret. Talk about it. Shame is the scammer's greatest weapon. Speak up, compare notes, ask questions. Every conversation weakens the network. When agents cuffed Clinton Uchendu that morning in Georgia, it wasn't just an arrest. It was a metaphor. The moment illusion met reality. The same hands that once moved hundreds of thousands now rested, bound against his back. But the true ending happens every time someone watching this video decides to question the next too perfect message, the next request for help, the next "I love you." Because somewhere right now another scammer is typing those words, hoping you won't think twice. If you stayed with us till the end, thank you. In this channel, we tell these stories not to sensationalize, but to educate, to make the internet safer, one true story at a time. If this episode opened your eyes or touched your heart, like this video so it reaches more viewers. Comment your thoughts or experiences. Your words could save someone else. And subscribe to our channel for more gripping, real stories of digital deception. Because awareness is armor, and together, we can make sure that no one else falls for the Heartbreak Network.